You're listening to Lead, Sell, Grow the Human Experience podcast. I am your host, Eric Konovalov, and I believe that we can achieve everything we want if we take our leadership, sales ability, and personal growth to a higher level. On this show, we share ideas on how to break through our invisible boundaries, start taking steps towards our dreams, and create the life we desire. I invite you to open your mind to new possibilities, new ideas, and to the truth that everything you want is possible for you. Thank you for being here and welcome to the show. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Lead, Sell, Grow the Human Experience podcast. Super excited for our episode that we have for you today. If you're not in a Facebook group, pause this right now, get over there. It's Lead, Sell, Grow the Human Experience Mastermind. And I want to connect with you guys. I want to know about what guests you'd like me to invite on the show, what topics you might want to hear. I want to hear from you. And by the way, I super appreciate you listening in. Today, I have an amazing guest. She is a good friend of mine. Her name is Gianna Rahmani. She retired at the age of 30 now. 39. I keep doing that. 39, not 30 now. And even though she looks like she's 30 now, she retired at the age of 39. And now she shows people how to escape the 9-to-5 grind and make their side hustle their primary source of income. She is the author of Hustle, Receive the Benefits of a Day Job While You Grow Your Side Business. And that book is going to be out on the shelves October 4th, but you can pre-order it now. We'll have all the links here. Gianna, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Eric. And hi, everybody.
You know, I just couldn't get the age out right. You know, like I think we stopped record once already just so I could get it right. Anyway,
you know what? I think it's, the message is, retire now,
retire now.
We want to make that happen. The book is about creating a life that you don't need a vacation from. So you can't do that at your day job.
No, you cannot. Well, before we get into the book and learning about your company, tell me a little bit about yourself. So 89, you immigrated to the United States. Where are you from? I'm assuming you were young, came with your parents.
Yes. So I was 7 years old. We immigrated from the Philippines, and my mom actually worked for the Philippine Airlines. So we were on standby tickets. And I remember as a family, we would actually have to give up our seats for others to be able, for the stewardesses to rest, because it's a long trip from the Philippines. So, as kids, we would take naps in the hallway of the airplane, and very humble beginnings. We immigrated to Jersey, and we were living in a small attic apartment. My parents were in a bedroom. My brother shared a sofa bed, and my sister and I were in a room full of these. Do you remember those Rubbermaid totes?
Yeah.
Those were our dressers.
Oh, wow.
So, definitely, humble beginnings, and, want to keep the faith, and it's all been about family since then.
So what did your parents do when they came here? So how many siblings?
3. So I'm the baby of 2 brothers and an older sister.
Wow. And so 5 of you might immigrated here from the Philippines. What did your parents do for work?
My mom was working for Philippine Airlines. When she came here, she started working for Liz Claiborne in New York City. So after Sunday Mass, we actually take the tunnel to the city and get some Chinese at Chinatown. And my dad at that time was working for a law firm, I believe.
Wow. Did you speak English? Did they speak English?
We did. So in the Philippines, you learn English in school. And it's actually one of my biggest regrets, to be honest. We told our parents, just speak English to us. We want to blend in. We want to speak English well. And they actually listened to us. So now I speak a couple languages, and Tagalog, which is the Philippine language, I actually speak the least.
Oh, wow.
So, but it wasn't that hard to transition that way.
That cuts deep because I got 2 boys and I speak Russian fluently. I have a similar story to yours. In 89, we left the former Soviet Union and got here in 1990. And my boys don't speak Russian. Like the older one understands it. The younger one just makes fun of us when we speak it.
They know the words that they shouldn't, right?
Yeah. And that's completely my fault. All right. So 7 years old, you get to the States. Talk to me. After high school, college, what'd you do?
So I think, I mean, I say that my life really began when I moved to California for college. And, my husband and I, we did this mind hack program by David Bayer a couple years ago. And what I really liked about what he said was just think of all the tiny little miracles that got you to where you are today. And
I got
when I got
chills, by the
accepted
way.
to, right? When I
Just got
got
chills, yeah.
accepted to college, I was randomly selected for a spring semester, which is in January. And all of my friends were starting school in August, right, for the fall semester. So my parents said, you know what, well, why don't you go move to California already? Just get used to, being on your own, learning how to use the subway or the bus or what have you. But I, decided to choose a school. I went on this, the busiest street and submitted my resume to every single business there just so I could work for that fall semester. And my very last resume got me to a property management company. And it so happened that the person working next to Farhad, my husband, was on maternity leave for 3 months. And that was the start of my career in real estate. And I haven't left it ever since, even now. I mean, I'm retired from 20 years of property management, but real estate's in our blood. We're investors. We still manage our properties ourselves. So.
Wow. How old was Farhad back then?
Farhad was 32, turning 33. He is 14, 15 years older than me.
Okay.
So when we actually, from California, we went back to Maryland, which is where I ended up going to high school after Jersey. And then we eventually ended up here in Florida 4 years ago now. And when we decided to move here, that's when we decided, hey, people retire when they go to Florida. You should retire, babe. My job covers our what I call surviving expenses, definitely not living expenses, because living is not just paying your bills. I talk about this a lot in the book. It's living is getting to be out with your family and enjoying and trying new things. So
yeah, for sure. So did
I
you guys
wanted to
get married
join
in California?
We did.
Wow. So you got married very young.
Yes, I was. I was 19 when I got married. And no, I wasn't pregnant. I clarify that for my parents' sake. But and then I had Nicholas at 21.
That's so cool. So for those of you listening, I met Gianna when I was selling copiers in Baltimore, and she was the VP for one of the property management companies. And we sold you guys some copiers, but then later I started the Goal Guide. And you were one of the very first people who actually hired me to come in and do like a speech for, your beginning of the year for the employees. That was one of I maybe have done like 4 or 5 speeches at that time. And you were one of the first to hire me. And I thought that was like the coolest thing ever. And it's been years.
Well, let me tell you, that was one of the best decisions I made. You did fantastic. I mean, you had the task of presenting to, all sorts of people, right? From our administrative assistants all the way to the CEO. And, for you to be able to relate to each person in that room, it was, you did great.
Oh,
and
thank you
I was
so
happy
much.
with that decision.
Thank you. I always like to hear that. And I went on, even after you left that company, we went on and we did a lot of business together there.
Good.
And,
That's what it's about.
but it's so cool because you're the one that you opened the door for me. So I appreciate it. And just to be here now and being one of the first to help you promote your very first book is truly an honor, just because I've seen you blossom and grow and know your work ethic. And I see the life you're leading. Like, you guys see Gianna right now, and she looks like a professional businesswoman, and she is. But if you were to look at her Facebook page, what you'll see is she's wearing a helmet. She's riding dirt bikes with Farhad and her 2 sons. I think she's the one doing the flips on like mountains and stuff. Like, you're like a daredevil when it comes to no flips, but
no flips, skydiving.
Like, you're living La Vida Loca. Like, I look at you, I'm like, this is freaking awesome. And what I love most about seeing you is how close you are with Farhad. Because when I met you, you guys were working for the same property management company as well in
Yeah.
Maryland. And I got a chance to meet him, and he's such a great guy. And you guys just
Thank
complement
you.
each other. You have two beautiful boys, and you're always together. You're always doing everything together. And I am going to ask you about your favorite F words down the road, and I'm sure family is one of them. But I'm all about the F words. All right. So here you are now, retired at 39. You're living a life in Florida. We got to get together soon, by the way. We're going to do that.
Yeah, I can't wait.
And now you wrote this book. Why? Who's this book for?
Oh, this book is for the people that don't get to hang out with their family as much as, they want. It's the people that can't, it's for the people that can't take care of their older family, once it gets to their turn. These are all things that I was dealing with myself. Also, I was very successful in my day job. And, after reading books like, Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and, Think and Grow Rich, and, all these motivational and leadership books, and your book, um, it became very clear that, working for somebody else is not the way to build wealth for the long haul. Maybe I could, take care of our expenses and build a good nest egg, but is it enough to take care of my family further down the road, right? My kids, my grandkids, and so forth. So, I was successful at my day job, but knew that it wasn't enough, but I was still scared, right? Hey, I've built several companies for other people. I can do it for myself, but I was still scared of giving up that biweekly paycheck, the health insurance, of course. So, I was in the car, and I'm 39, right? My goal in my head, just to pick a round number, was, I want to retire by the time I'm 40. And 39 came around. I was recently promoted at my day job. I was given more responsibilities. That was my reward, right? Even though, you're rewarded with more money, but you're always rewarded with more work. Another thing with that. So it kind of just all started to click. I started rereading the books, and I said, I was in the car, and I'm like, man, I wish somebody would just pay me to do what I wanted to do. And there's a saying that goes, if you want something, you give it away first. And I'm like, I was listening to Lewis House on the School of Greatness on that car ride, and John Assaraf was there, and he was talking about how he wouldn't train his employees on the skills they needed to do the job. He would train them on, making sure that they know their worth, and all of this. And I'm like, okay, well, there's no rules in business, right? You can do anything. And I'm like, all right, well, let me pay people to build their own business. And that's when the idea was born. And this was March 31st of this year. It's all happened so quickly since then. When I told people that I wanted to, that I decided to leave my day job, it wasn't like, oh, wow, that's so cool. I wish I could do that. It was like, oh, one day I want to do this. And, I used to do this too. And, hopefully one day I can do that. And that just sparked such a great sense of urgency and responsibility for me. Like, if this can really help me, how many more people I can help if I get a book out there and talk to them about this solution that I think I found.
Wow. So how did you even, how did you get the idea or thought to retire at 40? When did you have that?
Well, so when we moved here in 2018, right, Farhad was turning 50. And as I said, we were like, okay, well, you know what, you should retire, just focus on, our investments, just keep building that. And so it was a nice round number. And I'm like, well, maybe I'll retire when I'm 40. But I didn't tell anybody. And that was one of my mistakes, Eric. I didn't tell anybody because I didn't have a plan. Like, it was just a nice idea. And I even wrote it down, and that still wasn't enough. For me, there's two schools of thought for people when they say, tell others your goal. Some people say, don't do it, do it in private. And I am the opposite of that. I think the people that want to keep it in private, it's coming from a place of fear, right? You obviously don't want to put it out there in the world and fail in front of everybody. One, I don't think that people are looking at that. They're going to respect you for making the goal and rising to the challenge. But two, I think with the law of attraction, you put it out there and you get your excitement out there, and people will be excited for you and genuinely, be your cheerleaders, and they'll be part of your process as you make that goal come true, or that dream come true. And, so I didn't tell anybody that I wanted to retire by 40. My company that I was working for, they were doing things to grow me in the company. So I had an internal struggle the whole time. I'm like, man, they're moving me up. And, at some point I'm going to figure this out and I'm going to leave. But since I didn't have a plan or a vision of how I would actually make this happen, I was all in on my job. I was fully committed to it. And it wasn't a normal 9-to-5 job. It was work from home. Even before COVID, it was work from home. It's a sales job, as you're not limited to 9-to-5 at all. There's a lot of evenings, there's weekends, more, early mornings.
Especially as a property manager, right? Is that what you were doing, property management?
I was doing business development for a property management company. Yeah.
So for those who don't know, you had to deal with you had to meet with boards of HOA boards and get them to use you guys to manage the property. And most of those people have day jobs. So you're meeting with them in the evenings, you're meeting with them in some off times. I get it.
Exactly. It got a little easier moving to Florida because there's a lot of retirement communities, and that was nice. But still, no, there's definitely in Orlando more so than like the West and the East Coast, or the Gulf and the East Coast. There's a lot of like you said, people that are still working their day jobs, so they needed to meet with us in the evening. So anyway, all my time was, committed to my job and the family, of course. I didn't want to sacrifice the time with my family. So writing, which has been a passion for mine, and I've wanted to write and publish a book for years now, that was just put on the back burner. And, I think I might have told you this, kind of like I don't know what we should call the backwards of an aha moment for like a really great idea or a really, something that relates to you. But somebody told me like, oh yeah, you were here in California, right? I was traveling with my family, but then they said, and you were working the whole time. And I'm like, huh. So I was physically there, but spiritually, mentally, what have you, I was still in my day job. And, that's another thing, right? Like I needed a vacation from my day job. So we went on vacation, we were together, but then you still had to work at that time. And when you get back to work, how many emails are you trying to catch up on and all that. So that's, there's so many reasons why I wrote this book. And I think there'll be a lot of people to relate in some point or another. I tried to fill it with stories of, what I went through.
Well, I can't wait to read it. And you talk about a concept of angel employer. And we've heard of angel investors. What's an angel employer?
Yeah. So an angel investor, right? It's or they help you with your business expenses. Founders and entrepreneurs of a business, they want to scale. So there's different ways of seed funding. You can bootstrap it. So just use your savings or whatever money you have. You can get a loan, or you can find investors, and at different stages of your business, they will infuse your business with money to cover your business expenses. Well, again, going back to the struggle that I was having, because Farhad and I were like, okay, we have some investments, but we wanted to, focus more on business investing, especially with the market. With the real estate market right now, we wanted to pivot. And it was still like, okay, well, how am I going to have the time to build a business if I'm working however many hours for my day job? Or how do I leave my day job and give up everything that I worked for the last almost 21 years now? And again, that salary and the health insurance. So that's where angel employers come in. So rather than taking care of your business expenses, we'll pay you your salary that hopefully covers your personal expenses. So that 8+ hours that you do for your day job, you can now focus on your business. So imagine how much more you can scale your business if you're actually putting the time in, putting the focus in, because you're not distracted with, how am I going to pay my bills? My savings is running out, or I have to pay interest for my loan. And so that's what we said, let's help people with their personal expenses. And the numbers that we were running, with all this focus and all this time and attention, we're projecting that people can grow their business to a point where they can retire, meaning not work for day hustle anymore, and completely supplement ordinary earned income with business income and profit, 18 months or less, and to grow their profit by 270 to 900%.
Okay, so let's pretend we're talking, and this is 2015 as I'm starting the Goal Guide, and I'm a director of sales for a copier company. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear about day hustle. So I come to you and I'm like, okay, Gianna, this sounds like it's too good to be true. I have this dream and vision. I want to start a training and coaching company. I want to go out, teach people how to sell. I want to be an executive coach. I got all this leadership training in me. I want to teach others. What do you tell me to like? So you say, quit your job because at this point I'm running leadership trainings from like 7 to 9 p.m. Right. And I'm having mastermind groups and I'm sneaking around at night. Like I have my full-time job. I got my evening, side hustle.
And you have your boys and you have Julia and you have, your workout team. I think I see, it's just too much.
It's too much. So what's the solution to that? You say, hey, you don't need to work for the copier company anymore. Do I come work for you at that point? Yeah.
So you become an employee. Day Hustle, which is the name of the company, that becomes your employer, your angel employer. And again, we'll give you the benefits that you got from the copier company. Okay. But those 8, 10, 12 hours a day that you are working for them, you're focusing on the Goal Guide.
And are you guys
every single day,
the revenue?
However,
I mean, is there like a revenue split in this case?
Yeah, it's a revenue share. And we figured, we're going to invest in you and grow you to a point where your business profits will not just cover your personal expenses, but then it'll also cover the revenue share. That's how high of a percentage we're projecting for people to grow with, 40+ hours a week of mastering your business and all that time. I mean, we looked at the surveys, right? There's 70 million plus Americans that have side hustles now. So thankfully, that's a battle that we don't necessarily have to focus on right now, at least for the book, right? Our target audience. Eventually, people are going to start, with the Great Resignation and everything like that. I think eventually everyone's going to get that understanding that the day job's not the way to go. It is the way to go if you're working to learn. And I do, 100% believe in that. The company that I work for, all of the companies I work for, I've really, really learned a lot, which is what's helping me do what I do now. So, there's a place and time for day jobs, but, you really do need to work for yourself and get your money working for you instead of the other way around. And the only way you can do that is to have a business. It's to have investments, have your assets pay for, your living expenses. I'll go into that a little bit more, but, so our target market is side hustlers, and the surveys for those 70 million plus is the reason they can't grow their business is because they don't have time to scale it, and a lot of people talk about the 7 to 2 a.m. strategy. So they're asking you to sacrifice, work 9 to 5, which it's always more than 9 to 5, or work 9 to 5 and then work on your business 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. So when are you going to work out? When are you going to meditate? When are you going to read and learn some more? When are you going to spend time with your family? When are you going to sleep? Sleep is really, really important for, performing at your maximum. So imagine if you didn't have your day job in the pie chart of your daily schedule. All of that is in your business.
You're like the Uber. I mean, you're like the Uber of this thing. It's so hard to picture, but I get it. It's like you're a company that's just gonna have a lot of other companies under you that you're investing in, and you're doing a profit share. So at what point they have to fill out an application? It can't be just any Joe Schmo, obviously. And at what point are you able to share with me kind of like the criteria of how you decide who to accept and who not to accept?
Yeah, well, so that's a great question. The book, because it's such a new concept, there's a 3-step application process. The first one is to read the book, just get a really good understanding of what angel employment is. Okay. Get a good sense of where I'm coming from as the person that's trying to offer this opportunity. And it's hardly a motivational book. Like, I'm not a philosophical person. I'm not qualified to teach somebody how to get over fear. The goal of this book is to completely eliminate what you're afraid of, or, just giving up that job security, the golden handcuffs that they call it. So they read the book, and then we're working right now. We had a good time recording this, but we're going to have an explainer video that you'll have to watch. And then it's the application. And the book is filled with questions that is the application pretty much. But the questions are important for you, whether you want to be what we're calling a day hustler or not. They're questions that you really do need to answer for yourself, right? You don't know where you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you are. So it's questions about, like, what's your spending right now? What do you want to, what's your goal? What are your living expenses, right? Like, so I keep saying this, right? I don't call living expenses the way people, talk about it. That, working, waking up every morning, taking a shower, eating, going to work, driving your car, gassing up, going to work, coming back, and then paying your house bill and your gas bill and your car payment, all with everything that you just worked for. That's not living. I mean, you can if you want to, and a lot of people sadly have, but that's not living for me. So I call those surviving expenses. And living expenses is really what do you want to do to make you feel alive? Is it jumping off an airplane, or is it traveling, or just not I posted about this today. It's not waking up Monday morning needing Monday motivation. It's not on Wednesday saying, oh, it's hump day, I can't wait, the weekend's almost here. 2 days a week is 29% of our lives, and you're not living 71% of it. So that's, the book is really asking you questions and really asking you to take a deeper dive into what your goals are. Again, the reason I didn't tell anybody I wanted to retire by 40 was I didn't have that clarity. And clarity, I think, is a really big part of what I call a success formula. And, when you don't know what you're doing in the long term, forget about that. Like, if you don't know what you're doing today, like you haven't planned and prepared, and I'm a big planner and preparer, right? I'm just all anxious. I'm like, oh, what is it that I have to do today? Write it down, blah, blah, blah. So that's, so those questions will help you, excuse me, in the long run. And then, so that's a 3-step process. And then, I'm sorry, I'm getting to your question now, the evaluation process. So we are going to be looking at it just like an angel investor or a venture capitalist or anybody that you're looking to partner with you will be asking, have you done the market research? First of all, what's your idea, right? What business are you trying to grow? What's your plan? Like, have you done the market research? Who's your target audience? A lot of people will be coming to us and they're already maybe at their 20% profit or 50% profit. And I'm talking about percentages as it compares to their current salary. Okay. So, because we're trying to say, okay, this is your salary, $100,000, and your business is adding 20%, 20,000 to your household income. So we're just trying to get you from 20%, and again, not to 100, because then that's not going to cover the profit share. We want you to be able to comfortably cover everything. So we get you past that. And so we're going to be looking both at you, just like a normal job interview, but then we're also going to be looking at your business and personality, and you as a person is a big thing, right? Like a lot of people say, you can have a great idea, but if you don't have the plan and the execution, then it's going to be a lot more difficult. So we're going to be doing behavioral assessments, something again I learned from my previous company, and just really hone in on your strengths.
That's awesome. What behavioral assessment are you using? You able to share that?
Yeah, so I think I can. It's called the predictive index.
Oh yeah, I know PI. I'm certified in it, and that's one of the tools in my bag. It's a great thing.
It's great. I mean, when I did it, I was so surprised about how spot on it was. And I think it's really important. And it doesn't mean that, we're looking for one type of person or another. It's just helping us to know, like, where you need to focus more attention,
even with the assessments of predictive index, you can help somebody get very clear on their on their business strategy and what it is that they want. It's really What a great idea. That's awesome, Gianna. Okay, so I had a question, and how it just escapes you, and it was a really good question, and I hate that it escaped me, but I definitely have a referral for you. It's a young person who I'm coaching now, who's doing exactly like as you're talking. I'm just picturing this guy who's side hustling to start a recruiting company and working full time in a whole different industry. And it's just awesome. Okay. So besides providing the financial incentive to cover their living expenses, what else are you guys giving them? What tools are you providing for them to succeed?
So that's a great question. We are, it's, first of all, it's your network, right? I want this to be mutually beneficial, not just for us and not just for the one day hustler, but for all of the future day hustlers. So as when you Google it, there's so many different people that's credited to this, but your network is your net worth. And, I want to be able to have these day hustlers meet together, celebrate each other, but then, offer each other what each of their businesses can offer each other, right? So if I had, I think about this all the time, teachers, right? I know a lot of teachers, and I don't think that they're thinking that YouTube is replacing them yet. I don't think that they're realizing, or a lot of people, not just teachers, I don't think they're realizing that AI is taking over jobs, right? So forget about the Great Resignation and people willingly quitting their jobs, but soon we're not, they're not even going to be there, right? I don't know if you watched Top Gun Maverick. I'm sure you did, but
I watched Top Gun Maverick. I went on when I was on vacation. I went and watched it with my kids and family, and I had them watch the first one from the 80s. Before we went and watched Maverick. So
we did the same thing. Well, so they alluded to it, but of course, Maverick's irreplaceable, but they alluded to it. And it's basically, soon the Mavericks of the world are all going to be replaced, whether we like it or not. But the world's always going to need entrepreneurs and that innovation. And there's always going to be problems to solve. That is where entrepreneurs come in. And a teacher can be an entrepreneur, Khan Academy, it's a teaching business, right? So that's what I talk about that in the book a lot.
Okay, awesome. I'm excited to get the book. So you could get so if somebody like an entrepreneur like myself, what would I get out of the book?
So you'll get out of the book, like I said, you're going to be answering questions that you need to answer for yourself anyway. it wasn't the intention of the book, but I think it's going to motivate people and really get them to understand, that there's different options and opportunities out there, and there's different ways that everyone can work together. And so, if we're offering for the people that pre-order the book, so between now and October 4th, that they're going to get priority application processing, because you can imagine the number of people that are going to want to at least apply and try to be a day hustler. So we're trying to offer them an incentive, because I expect to have a very detailed evaluation process, right? So if there's going to be all these people lining up, then we want to be able to give a way for you to at least cut in front of the line, so to speak.
I'm going to start a business that's going to be day hustle prep.
Yeah.
Prep their applications. All right, Gianna, you talk about the honeymoon life. Describe that to me.
The honeymoon life. So, my honeymoon, Farhad and I were on vacation. Obviously, we weren't thinking about work. We went to Tahoe to go snowboarding, and a place called Angels Camp to go boating and fishing. And, we were on vacation, right? And I don't think you have to be married to grasp that you want to live a life you don't need a vacation from. And that's what the honeymoon life is. And I'm hoping to help people hustle to the honeymoon life, whatever their honeymoon life is that they envision. I'm not talking about going to Angels Camp. I'm not talking about going to Tahoe, but if it's the Bahamas or Hawaii, or at home, because you don't want to go outside. It's whatever makes you happy. It's all about that. The whole, really, what does living mean to you? And that's what the honeymoon life is.
I love that. It's like you're the creator and there's no limit. Like just the fact that you had this idea that, at 39 years old, you want to retire at 40. The first thing most people would do in that case is just come up with a list of reasons why that's completely unrealistic and can never happen. And, who do you think you are? And all these internal battles, and you just kind of kill the idea and continue to go to work miserable. And then at 50, you get the same idea back, except for now it's not 40, it's at 50. But you're so inspirational in the sense that you had it, you went for it. Here you are, you're still not there, but you're freaking moving along. And it's really cool to watch.
Thank you. And that's a great point, Eric. Retiring, working for yourself was just a step in the plan. Financial freedom is the real goal. And I put it out there in the book, that's my new goal. Retiring is fun. Everyone asks, how's retirement? I'm like, I can't complain, and I feel almost bad sometimes, because then they're talking to me about the crazy board meeting that they had to go to, or what have you. And the other thing we have to realize is that not everyone is as lucky as I was in enjoying my work, my day job, and the people I work for, and what I got from that. There's a lot of people that really hate their jobs, but they really don't know how to change that.
Yeah.
So, they need to, I really want them to start thinking that they have the control and be the creator, as opposed to just, like I said, just working Monday through Friday, living for the weekend.
And one final question I have for you is, people look at you and you're so professional, even though they've heard you jumping out of airplanes and going skiing and snowboarding, and you're like one of those extreme sports kind of undercover lady. But being an extreme sports person, you have some F-bombs that you like to throw out, but they're not the F-bombs that most, like I would as a Marine guy, like my F-bomb,
Or my
I
husband.
don't have many options for those, right? Tell us about your favorite F words, and why did you even take the time to think of this?
It just became a theme from, I love social media. I'm addicted to social media. I just love connecting with people on there, and I love sharing it. And, I love sharing pictures of my family, and, it became a theme: family, fun, faith, food, fitness, freedom, finances. It just became a running theme, and Farhad happens to start with an F. So,
So this
I
fudge,
think fudge, oh, that's another
a
good
good
one.
one, right? Yeah.
And, I think that it's important to have all of that, right? You can't just, be successful at your day job and then not have, a good home life. You can't just focus on, your one relationship with your friends and not have a good relationship with your family. You need to, and I'm still learning this, you need to have a good relationship with food. So, that's been a struggle for me all my life. I never forget that you said that you eat to live, not live to eat. I am the complete opposite as you.
That's a book.
And it's crazy, so I think that, and faith, obviously, it doesn't have to be, whatever you want to call God or the universe or what have you, you need to have faith, because, life isn't always easy, but I choose not to focus on that. And that's really one thing that I want to say. So, the book and social media posts and everything like that, it's all trying to, I focus on the positive. I wasn't always like that. I actually didn't want to be on social media a long time ago, because I just thought that, it's where people find out that their spouse is cheating on them, or, it's for people that are just, what do they say? They're just showing their highlight reel. Well, you could easily get into a trap of comparing yourself to others. But I look at it as, what, I had to change my perspective. Social media and books and all of this stuff, I think it's the equivalent of surrounding yourself with positive people, and, people that will push you to do better. And once I changed my perspective on that, I was inspired by people. Again, I wasn't wanting them to fail. I was being part of their process, and I was celebrating them and learning, okay, what do they have that I want to? And if they can do it, I can do it. And if I can do it, you can do it. And it's just for me, it's just, something very powerful that, if it starts at home. Now we have social media and books and everything to help people on a global scale. And but it takes a mindset to do that. And I always want to bring that out there, because it's tough. It took a while to get out of that, but you really have to see the positive in things.
So good. So good. Gianna, how can people get a hold of you?
So they can find me at Instagram, GM Rahmani Official. There's so many GM Rahmanis, so sorry for the long handle. They can find me on LinkedIn and Facebook as well. So, we have an email, mediarelations@bayhustlers.com. They can also email there and it'll get to me. And I'm excited for this. I really, really think from all the people that I'm talking to and everything. Let me say this: I'm the proof of concept, right? So my husband and I funded Day Hustle, so I was really on my own when I left my previous company. But as a day hustler, you're going to have somebody else, taking care of that, so you don't have to worry. So I'm just super, super excited for this opportunity for people to really be able to unlock their golden handcuffs finally.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And by the way, just to continue with your Fs, the men's group that I'm in is called F3. And if you go to f3nation.com, you'll see what it's all about. But the 3 Fs stand for fitness, fellowship, and faith.
There you go.
And so I would recommend, I can't invite you to it, even though spiritually you'd be a perfect fit. But Farhad should check it out. I think, I don't know if we have some workouts there, but it's just been a life changer for me. So the F's are, the F words are winning here today. Gianna, is there anything I should have asked you that I did not?
No, I don't think so. It's been a really, really great conversation. Like you said, I'm that person that will say, what are the questions? Let me be prepared. And you really made it easy to get through. So I appreciate it.
Awesome. Yeah, it was great to have you here, guys. head over, let us know what you thought of this episode on the Facebook group, Lead, Sell, Grow, the Human Experience Mastermind. Can't wait to hear from you. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening to this episode. Gianna, thank you for being here. You're a rock star. Wishing you the most success.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.